What's up, guys? It's Peak Octane, back with another episode of F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. We are Cook Racing, and this is the 5th round at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. And I accidentally forgot to record the first practice session. We did, like usual, half of our practice runs and our practice programs in practice 1, and then the other half in practice 2. Then we skipped through practice 3, and after our practices this week, we did level up our claim to level 5, as well as having enough resource points to put on an upgrade. So that is exactly what we are going to do. Going to do a weight reduction on the central under tray, and that is going to be on in a few weeks time. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on qualifying, as we put in a blistering 112 in qualifying 1, and that puts us through. We did not need to make a second run, and that has us in 8th place through Q1. And unfortunately, our teammate could not get through to Q2 this time around. And we put another 112.8 down, and that is indeed enough to get us into Q3 once again. And we really struggled in Q3. We lost a lot of ground, nearly a full second, and we tried a second run, but it ended up getting messed up and did not have enough time for another run. So that is how Q3 ended, and barring any sort of grid penalties, we will be starting 10th in this race. It's hard to believe we are nearly a quarter of the way through the season already, and just showing some of the progress that we have made between qualifying and the race itself. And now we are going to go ahead and set up this race at Zandvoort. I really do like showing the track layout. Kind of gives you an idea of what we're working with in terms of the actual track itself.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Vettel, Stroll, Perez, Ricciardo, and Cook, Norris, Sainz, Esteban Ocon, and Grosjean, Raikkonen, Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, and Kevin Magnussen, Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
And we are indeed starting 10th after there were no grid penalties above us, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to underfuel the car a little bit more than we normally do as well. Normally start out with still enough fuel to get to the end of the race, but this time I wanted to start even lower, see if that really affected our strategy any. And then I didn't bother with the tires this time. And as always, we are looking to get a good start, and we get a peak, get around a few cars, have to slam on the brakes, and it works out pretty well for us. We are already up into 6th, lose 6, so we are down to 7th, which is perfectly fine. That's gain of 3 positions through the first 2 corners. Accidentally make some contact with Vettel after locking up. That is an accident on my part, but we will deal with the consequences. The top 6 are definitely pulling away from us quickly. I think the knowledge that our car is still not one of the top cars on the track is what plays a part of that. I mean, obviously our bump with Vettel definitely set us back quite a bit, but it definitely doesn't help the fact that we don't have a top tier car on the grid yet. But the good news is throughout this lap we are able to hold off the likes of Ricciardo and Stroll. That's one thing I've noticed we've been really good at, is we've been able to make our car really wide, and really using that Mercedes engine to our benefit to be able to pull away from those that are behind us, and really rely on gaining those positions early on these restarts and even just the starts to the race in general. And quick update, as you can see on the third lap, we have Ricardo having a reliability issue and he will be out of this race. That happened right behind me, and it happened at a really good spot too, as it gave me a little bit more room between me and the racing points behind. Granted, there were a few mistakes that I made that kind of squandered that opportunity, but it is what it is. And that was a little bit of I guess a shocker for me that happened so close. But now we're ending our first stint on the softs, and we're going to go into the pits and get some medium tires. And it looks like our pit crew is spot on once again. We get a 2.0. I think we can confirm that we are either the best or the second best pit crew out of all the teams. Then, because they are just constantly pumping out these 2-second pit stops on us, and they're setting us really well. They're setting us up really well for future stints. And here you can see Lance Stroll was able to get around me briefly, but we use the DRS to overtake him again and get our spot back. It also helps that I am running a low downforce package, because a lot of these are high-speed corners, with the exception of a few parts of the track. And that is also what's been helping me pull away from the people behind me and keeping them behind me, especially at this circuit. And the rain started coming down late lap 14, early lap 15. Jeff did want us to stay out, which is fine, because I really didn't want to pit for just a couple of laps of rain tires at this level of rain. And unfortunately, that slickness did cost us his position there at the end, as we did tap the wall. That was really unfortunate. We somehow still get driver of the day, even though we only moved up 2 positions in terms of net gain. So there must have not been a lot of movement throughout the field. And here you can see we have Bottas getting the win over Hamilton and Verstappen. Once again, not surprised to see these 3 on the podium. Just like it was in real life throughout this year. I expect a lot of this to happen this first season. Who knows, maybe that'll get shaken up a little bit since it is a video game. But yeah, able to stay ahead of even all of McLaren and Renault was big. AlphaTauri, along with the back marker teams like that. That's huge that we were able to stay ahead of so many of those teams. Definitely helps us out in the rivalry too. And not going to complain with yet another points finish. That's something that, again, like I said at the beginning of the season, that wasn't something that I planned to have happen every week, but we've gotten really lucky with these races so far. And as you can see now, we are just moving on to the housekeeping stuff. We do a facility upgrade, which is nice, because that's one of our first ones that we've done this series, outside of a driver upgrade. And then just checking over everything, making sure that there isn't anything that I happen to miss, all that sort of stuff. And that's pretty much going to be the rest of the episode, is just showing what my housekeeping stuff is. I ended up deciding to sit on my resource points for another week, which is fine. I'm still satisfied with where we are. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode. I really do appreciate your guys' support. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And check out all the links down below in the description, just like my Twitch channel. And check all those out if you want to support me on other platforms. I really do appreciate all that you guys have done for me. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.